Hey everybody, new podcast out tonight. My good friend Jenn Stillman came in and sat down with us, and our special guest was my wife Pam. She is a decorative painter, does interior painting, and does faux finish and all sorts of cool stuff that I don't even have names for. If you want to check out more of her stuff, go to artisttouchpainting.com, and she's on Facebook as well, and I believe it's Artist Touch Painting on there as well. So we start talking about her painting, and then we go all over the place. Ghost, the TV show Snapped, whether or not there's an afterlife, and just it's all over the place. So without any further ado, enjoy.
Enjoy the podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We have Jenn with us as
I'm
usual.
I'm still here.
Super special guest today. My loving, beautiful, and talented wife, one Miss Pam Anderson.
Hi,
What
Pam.
So,
I'm so excited you're here.
yeah. And we've started doing a podcast again, and Pam kind of nudged me like, do it. And she's been a guest before, but one of the first times we tried to do it at home.
For a second.
For a second, the whole
Yes,
thing we had to
right.
quit.
For
So
10 seconds.
we set the microphone down, and Pam's just like, F word.
See, I
F word.
can't swear. Again,
F
as the
word.
last podcast,
F
I
word.
can't swear. You totally
And I'm
can.
like, you just can't. It was like
All right, but
a
listen.
little kid the first time she ever got a microphone.
Okay, but that was the
you just
old
got
me.
the
That was the
I've
old
grown
me.
as a
I-
person.
Yeah.
I have.
I'm
Well, you just got
42.
the equipment, so you were trying it out. So you put
Right,
Pam
I
in the
mean,
hot seat.
what-
What else are you supposed
We
to do?
we
Yeah.
literally got a microphone.
One microphone?
We have a photographer here taking some action shots.
Man, she's doing really good. You
Yeah,
had
she is.
one
She is good
microphone
at
at
that.
this point? Or?
We had just one of those.
It-
One of those Yeti mics, and it was just on a stand. The stands are still over there. You can put that Yeti mic in the middle of the room,
Yeah.
and it would record everybody.
everything.
Yeah.
It is. It's
It
very good.
recorded the F word like astoundingly well.
Because
but he
you
was upset about it.
Well, you said it so many times. No, I
Well,
wasn't
know,
upset.
so many times.
All right, let's back up. The F word doesn't offend me. I wasn't offended by the F word. It was, all right, and I'm all in like professional, I want to do a podcast. And this is back in, oh my God,
It
2000.
was only a couple years ago. It wasn't that bad.
14?
Yeah.
We were
well,
here.
yeah,
it was-
we were here. We were doing it in that room over
Yeah.
there.
No, we got it before. We got it just as we moved in here, so it was probably 5 years ago, or 4 years
She
ago.
tried her best.
But anyways,
Damn.
I had
Just
this
keep going.
idea that we would put the mic down and we'd have this amazing discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I'm like,
Fail
so
dozer.
we're doing a podcast. Fuck. I'm like,
She's checking the acoustics.
Right.
Okay.
I thought you said
Word.
test.
and I'm like, okay, we got that out of the way.
You-
Fuck. Just like, no. No. But anyways, so
You
we,
know what? In the future,
we're-
when there's a podcast where just people say the F word,
the F word
it's
podcast.
really hard for me
See?
not to swear.
I started that.
See,
Yeah.
that's what we need to do, like
I-
make a mashup video.
Trying to start a movement.
Right. Pam's mashup video where
Pam
we just
started it.
we cut the video and the audio of everybody saying the F word and just run them all together.
And then Pam just has, it's like the bridge. Pam's just the bridge.
See?
Pam.
Pam's the muse.
Pam. Thank you, Pam.
That's my job.
But what also, like, aside from swearing, which is admirable, I love, you also do the painting thing, which is super rad, which I'm happy that you're doing again so much. I actually took my office to dinner. We had our Christmas dinner at the Option House. And we were
Nice.
upstairs in the Peacock Parlor, and I was like, my friend Pam did all of this up here. Didn't she do such a good job? You
It
did.
was a fun job. Restoration stuff is fun.
So that's
So-
what you do.
Painful but fun.
So
yeah.
for all the people that don't know, explain
Explain.
what artist touch painting is. Like what is
Well, sorry, I'm very phlegmy. Yeah, we'll just get that out of the way.
and just a little tip. I think we can take you even farther. You
Back up.
don't say the F word, But if you're going to clear your throat, just turn your head away from the mic.
Or get closer
Because
to
there's
it
somebody that just
and really get them there.
See, that's what she does. Did you see that? I just said if you're going to clear your throat, turn your head away from the mic. She leans closer.
Sorry.
Like some poor person just spilled coffee all over the place when their speakers were like.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So you weren't kidding. That's
No.
great. No, I do.
Yeah,
Okay.
true
So
story. I'm worse than
We're
a
going to be
5-year-old.
on the radio.
Right.
Hello.
Right.
listen to your handler. Okay. So you do when you do painting. Do you
All right,
do?
shut it.
No, so I do painting everywhere, everything from just straight painting, which is
I need my wall blue.
known
Please
as
come paint it blue.
cut this in, roll this wall, we're done.
Okay.
To, I have a beige wall, I need it painted beige again. I will do that.
You also add accents. You redo offices.
Yes.
Those.
I'll do anything. I like decorative finishes, which is troweling, different layers of things using metallics.
At the Peacock Parlor, there's the peacock feathers that are in the paint.
Yeah, that's a raised stencil. There's stenciling and
It's a raised stencil.
yeah. I at one point was considering calling my business anything but white. But I was afraid
Yeah,
that I would get
could-
a little backlash from that. In
What if
some
somebody
kind of
researches just that name
Yes.
in Google? They're not looking for you. They're
Yes.
looking for other terrible things.
yes.
So,
But I really hate to paint white. It kind of goes against everything in my body. I like color.
you want to
I
add
like
depth
fun.
to people's lives.
Yes, I want
Aw.
happiness and color
You're
and
like a
life.
therapist, only with paints.
Yeah, but I will do white if I have to. I actually
Right.
had a job that I did awesome white metallic plaster troweled all over this giant great room. So I mean I'll do it, but
Do you know what you're doing when you go into a room? Like if somebody gives like I saw that office that you did for, was it Zippo? They had
Oh,
you
yeah.
redo that office. When you walk in and you see something, do you look at it and you're like, I got this.
Yes.
This is what is happening.
Yes.
You did those awesome like Jack Daniels metal on the back of the chairs and
yes, it depends.
yes.
On,
So, I'm sorry. Go
yes,
ahead, but don't you
shout
sort
out
of,
to Ryan Bean on
for doing the metal
the
things, those
the
are so
metal
cool.
stuff. Yes.
But
Oh my god, he did do that, didn't he?
Yes.
Don't you sort of have to like, sort of seek out the person's personality
Yeah.
a little bit? Like,
I have to draw it out of the person because there's basically two situations that I walk into. There's the person that says, "I want you to paint my bedroom this color. I already have the paint. This is what you're doing."
They have
That's it.
You're
And
just there to
then
do manual labor,
There's the
not add
person
anything to it.
that says, "This is my bedroom.
No.
I don't know what I want to do with it."
Okay. That honestly is so helpful. You have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to paint or decoration or anything. If I could hire somebody that would just be like, wow, your kitchen looks like a nightmare that I had after going on a 3-day bender on nothing but sugar
Yeah.
and Taco Bell.
Yeah.
You walk in and you're like, I
Well,
have this.
And sometimes it's kind of a fishing expedition a little bit. I have to look around
Right.
the rest of their house and kind of try to figure out what their
Aesthetic is.
style is.
Yeah.
But some people are all over the place.
Yeah.
So then I have to try to get them to focus on what exactly they want just that space to be. Because some people want different things for their bedroom than they want for their kitchen. Because you don't entertain in your bedroom,
what?
right? You're not supposed to entertain
Honey, we need to have a talk
in your
after this
bedroom.
podcast is
Right.
over.
Yeah.
There's 14 people in our bedroom right
Yeah.
now.
So there's some people who want their kitchen to be a certain thing, but they want their bedroom to be a certain other.
Like
so
they're a little...
there's just conversations you have to have that bring out.
Do,
You know,
do people
what
come up
people
with
are
like, I want to have a certain feel in this room?
Yes.
Because I was kind of saying that.
There
to,
are some.
right. I was kind of saying that to
That's
you the other night
helpful.
about this room. Like, we have all that shit over there. Like, we're making strides here.
You did good.
Right. But I want to clear all that out. But this is the same kind of thing where I'm like, all right, like we're kind of stuck with the wood grain on that door. Not
Not
stuck
really.
with it. It's I guess I'm
You're not
right.
stuck with
No,
anything.
it's fine. You're not
But
stuck.
what I'm saying is
oh,
that-
see, Pam, you're not stuck with anything.
Right, I know
Bam.
from what you do, but I guess what I was saying was that matches the rest of the building, so I
Right,
wouldn't want to
true.
get rid of it
On the
Like the
outside.
back side of the
and
door.
and have some weird like yellow door and everything else is this beautiful oak or whatever that is, woodworking stuff.
It's
Yeah.
actually pretty rad when you like go through somebody's like house or museum or you know some kind of something, and then you walk in and a room is completely separate
Right.
from everything that you just saw,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, what is this? And it's
But-
their personality.
What-
But the only bad part is in this area, a lot of people are really scared to do that.
So for example, let's pretend that
Example.
I'm customer guy right now. What I really want in this room
Get out, sir.
is just leave
You've
your
offended
checkbook
me,
and I will come back.
In every sense that I have.
But like, so you have this stuff that you put on there a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is super cool, and I want stuff like that. But I also have all that oldie time like oil field, like that oil can and those
Yeah,
old
no.
hubcaps.
no, that
And no, but what I'm
that florally stuff would go. We'd spray paint the ceiling black. We'd put rusty stuff on the walls and go like
So do you already have a
industrial.
plan for this room? This
Yeah.
is what kind of what
that's
it sounded
exactly
like
what I was
to
talking
me.
about. Like I wanted to do like a kind of a rusty, like
Industrial
steampunk-ish
kind of room.
John,
for-
I think I know who you should hire to redo this room.
right?
I
But
don't know.
also,
I have a few people. I
but
have to-
listen,
They
there's
have to put in
also
bids. You gotta
Right.
be fair.
True
I
story.
Get it. Yeah,
there's also
but-
some qualities as far as doing acoustics in a room like this with microphones and that kind of thing. Right now, you have every single surface is hard,
right.
and there's a
that's-
way to. The ceiling is the only thing that's not technically hard. But the walls, there's things we can trowel on there to absorb
Buffer
and
the sounds.
Well,
Yes.
I ordered them without consulting first, but I ordered some of those acoustical panels.
Yes.
Is that how you say it?
Right.
Acoustical?
Yes, which are always black, which would work with
Yeah,
our.
but they're not just like
rusty
the egg crate
egg
ones.
crate looking
They're
ones.
like the ones that have like the
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm talking about?
The
They're
wave
like a
kind of things.
wave, yeah.
Like a wi-
And I
Pam, I love that
Right.
you like we bring it up and Pam's already
she knows
like,
her shit. Yeah.
bam.
Well, he said it a couple weeks ago or whatever.
what-
And you've been
what
like,
I
I'd
didn't
like
realize
to redo that room. I'm like, oh.
what I didn't realize about it was I thought you had to like cover all the walls with that shit. But you
I don't
don't. You just
think.
do like a little splotch here
Yeah,
and
no,
there.
no, no.
to-
Probably
it must just-
closest.
If you,
to
I think if you do
catch.
too much, you catch too much of the
It's
sound, and
quiet.
it turns to like an echo chamber, and you're like,
Like a-
my voice sounds awful. I'm leaving.
But what would you like? What would you do? So that's what I'm saying. Like, so if I came to you and we didn't know each other, and I said, I have this room. We're gonna do podcasts in here. I have this old like oil field stuff like that. I don't know if you saw any of that stuff that's in the other room there.
In your office?
Yeah, it's like super
The
old
old Kendall
oil
stuff.
cans from
Oh,
Kendall
that's
and Quaker
so
State,
rad.
and like an old oil can, and then these weird
More like
hubcaps.
local
Yeah.
fair kind
Yeah,
of
like,
thing.
but it's just super
Yeah.
old. It's just cool stuff. Like
It's
when you
just
see
cool
it,
shit, yeah.
and then that old like weird. It's like a musket that your dad. I got
Yeah.
from your dad. It was your dad's
Shotgun
from like the
thing or
Civil
whatever,
War.
yeah.
Like I'd like to stick that on the wall.
That would be so
and
cool.
just have like a room
Yeah.
of cool shit around here.
Yeah.
So when you come in here, you're like, oh, this is cool. So what would you initially go? Because I'm probably not too far off a regular customer where I go, I have all this crap that I bought.
Here's
It-
some crap.
Right. I've accumulated all this
Here's
crap.
Make crap happen.
And I have an idea, and we're like I said, we kind of have that wood door over there, and we have this, and we have this beam that goes through the ceiling.
Which I love this being, by the way.
That's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
We can work
Hangs
with
and
that.
stuff
But
up
Yeah.
I guess
Pam,
what's saying
I
is like,
would-
what would you, how do you approach that? Like, how do you go from it's the idea of something that somebody wants, and here's all this random, and that's what
Input.
well, what
that
I think is funny is like, I have this random musket, even though it's your dad's, but like you'd be like, so you have something that doesn't really match, and we have these weird acoustical panels. So how do you figure out how to put all
I
that
think
together?
they're rad little
Because everything just always kind of can fit into a mode. Probably not making any type of sense, but just
No, it does make sense.
because a lot of times people will be like, okay, I want to redo this room. The couch is staying, but nothing. So you. I really don't know how to explain it, but
So
it
does it-
all just comes together in my head. Like
I like
that-
how you said that, like, no, it can fit. It all can fit.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody takes any kind of anything, you can see it and be like, no, this can work.
Yeah.
You know color palette. You know how things aesthetically look. And you also know how, like, for you to say that this room to be used for podcasts, but it's also hard knowing that what the room is going to be used for, what accoutrement can go into the room without, completely messing it up.
Yeah.
I'm doing good on
Like,
this one.
first of all, you definitely need some kind of a rug in here. But anyway, that's besides the point. But
She's not wrong.
just because
we
the
need
floor
a nice
is
area
like all
rug.
tile, like
Right.
everything's just bouncing off. But like if somebody, like that's the other, I don't want to say thing that ties my hands, but people always have a budget. Well, not always.
Oh yeah.
I love the people that don't have a
I
budget.
have a budget
Don't get me wrong.
constantly.
Right. So if
Every
somebody
day of my
says, "Look, we have to keep this couch, but we want to whatever," I will tell somebody, "No, that's
Okay.
So,
That's another hard thing to say. To be
Yes.
like, this is just not going to work.
yes," or
What I-
but not that they can't keep the couch, because I understand that. Like budget, our whole lives are budget. You can keep the couch, but I don't think I would do what you had in mind.
Right.
I would do this.
Or
Like there's
like,
always
I can do it. It's gonna look like this,
right.
but
Yes, because
I
there's
was
your
gonna-
standard painter that would be like, okay, and just do it.
sure.
But I'm not going to,
What I was
because
going
that
to
looks like
suggest
shit.
earlier, and what I would suggest you in the future, I'm looking at this mirror right over
Yeah.
here, right up there. You put up Pam size. It's a Pam-sized mirror right
It's
there.
perfect.
I went to go do. You're what, roughly 7 feet 8 inches tall.
No.
so high.
So then the inbox me.
I know, that was
who's
hilarious.
basically
You and
like,
Trisha both. It's like,
We represent
We have a
the
chair
Power Shop
to stand-
girls. And we walk in and we're trying to do our hair.
okay, but at the time, to
this
be fair, this
mirror-
was my office.
This mirror is a
Technically.
1/4 inch above where my scalp ends, so there's no way I'm looking in this mirror. That's my only suggestion.
Yeah.
I don't want to guide
Lower
you
the
in your
mirrors
doings,
a little bit.
but
Okay.
like when you're building a home
Watch
for the
for-
tiny people.
Tallness of.
well,
Okay.
I'm sure
actually
your
was-
real life
I was
you do.
actually
That
looking
was
at that the
hilarious.
other day,
I forgot about that.
and I saw this hole there, and I was like,
Yeah.
That's Trisha's
was
size.
there
I think that's
was
where-
there 2 mirrors here, and I'm missing something? Because I was
I
like,
think
that's
that
really,
was another.
that's really high.
Yeah, for you. For me, it would have been like, well, this is great. I can see my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's like 6 inches below where the mirror lives now.
Yeah.
And then real life happened.
But
you
that
know,
was
like-
funny. I
But
didn't
this was
realize
your
that
office.
it was.
This
it
was your
for a
office.
hot second.
It was. And then
So I hung the mirror because I have issues with
always
like
have to-
eye stuff and
all the time.
I can't-
Well, you have to
yeah,
have a
it's-
mirror. You have shit to do. I have
Right.
to represent myself.
yeah.
I always check my phone to look to see
Well,
if I've
and
schmutz
we
on
had
my
a
face.
full length mirror on the back of the door. I
We
don't
did.
know if this still lives or if that's it
I think
right
that's
there
it, actually.
over there.
But
But
I know that like with your customers, I'm sure you're like, but this was your office. I just thought it was hysterical when
It
I
was
moved into
funny.
this office,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh,
see, and that's the
I
other
can
thing
see my
is I
scalp.
I do not technically like I deal with walls
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm out. As far as decorating and that kind of stuff,
You can factor that in, but you don't supply the decorations.
true story, right? If people want to then go, okay, now we have this newly redone room. Now what the hell do I do with it? Then,
But do you start? That's what I was trying to say earlier, or ask
but
earlier.
then I will help with that.
But do you start with? So if we were talking about this room, do you start with a color where you're like, I think that this room would look good in this color, with what your kind of mood is trying to be for the room and the stuff that you're wanting to put in there?
No,
Or
I
do
will
you
start
play
by
off-
asking, so what are you thinking? I always want to ask them first what their thought and point of view is
Right.
for it, and then go from there.
What I meant is once you get to the next step.
Oh,
So once, like I said, I want this to be a super cool podcast room and everything I just said a little, you know what I mean, about all the stuff. So then, do you see it as this room should be that color? Do you play off of the color that maybe they like? like, would you have the customers sort of pick out a color out of the color deck? Or would you like go, I think that this, like you said something about let's paint the ceiling black, like you started to do it there, and then you wound up a little bit. But would you, I guess that's what I'm saying, like do you see it as like you have a vision of what it's going to look like? Or do you sort of just kind of blend it as you go forward to what looks good?
I always have a vision of what I want to do with a room, but I have to gauge it off the person that's paying for it.
Yeah. That's
and
awesome. That's a really good.
And if I get the feel from them that they really don't know and they'd like some direction, then I give it, and that's what we end up doing. But there are people who absolutely want their thing done, and that's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine with me because that's their they live there. I don't.
Right. But what I think is interesting about your business, and it's even in your name, is you do have like an artist's approach at it. It's not like you're Pam's painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have like a let's make this look awesome thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you saw the bathroom downstairs. Oh, you probably haven't been in there.
What, where the boys?
Yeah.
The scary bathroom.
The
So
scary
what's-
bathroom.
what's-
Did you do something to the scary bathroom?
You have to stop and see it. It's a little bit dirty right now, but
I
Little
have
bit.
to.
over the summer last
It
year,
was terrifying.
there's something happened to the wall. There's some sort of damage or something, but we needed to paint it. It looked like shit in there. Because I went in there, because I hardly
Toilet
read.
paper holder that must have been roughly 3/4 of the size of the entire room because there was 14 looked like bullet holes
Right.
in the wall that
Yeah.
they had repositioned
No, seriously,
it.
every time you tried to go to that
100
bathroom,
times.
it was
Yeah.
like the horror movie
I know, you
music
hurry.
started to play, like on your way
Yes.
down the hallway.
So
You're like, squeak, squeak, squeak.
I
And
said
you
to
go
Pam
in
one
there,
day,
It's like, God.
She had one of those weeks where she was like kind of in between, like this job's ending on Tuesday and I don't have another one to start till Friday. And I'm
right.
like, hey, as long as you have a couple days, why don't you
Yeah.
come in and do something with the bathroom down there? Like it's atrocious.
disinfect
Please make
it.
this livable because
But-
also it's not just the boys' bathroom; it was the customer
Right,
bathroom. It was
right.
just downstairs.
Like there's so many people that used it,
Yeah.
and I'm not thinking that anybody's going to come in here thinking they're walking into the Carlton Ritz or anything like that. Like
Right.
it's a shop bathroom, but I
But
still want it to look nice.
Not
so
walking
Pam,
into your death would be
right.
preferable.
So Pam goes in and starts painting it, and like it is way above and beyond
Right.
anything that I would have even
Right.
remotely
I don't know
thought.
if it still is.
Well, no, it's still. But but what I think is funny is you painted the trim and you painted this and it's
Mm-hmm.
this other color that I would have probably just painted it white, and you hung things up.
Anything but
so
white.
it looked cool, and it looks really really nice. So.
What I found with artists in any realm that they do, you can have artistry in your bones, in your veins for something obscure. It could be it could be clothes. It could be like Jason, like we talked about last week, tattoo work. It could be me with pictures. It could be you with paint. Any artist, when they are working on a project or done with a project or doing a project, they pay attention to the details that no one else is ever gonna friggin' notice in there. Like, I look at lighting, I look at like things floating through the air. John was just like, make the bathroom not look like somebody got murdered in here.
Right.
And you made it immaculate, but then also you went like over beyond and made it an actual decent, like, livable space. And you're still just like, meh, it's whatever, I just did a thing, it's fine. But like the details that artists notice and that they it's in their brain, it's really important to them, it's something that they focus on, and it's something that they want to bring to the project that they're doing, whatever medium it is. That is just what they do. It's just what they have to do, and it's just what you're gonna get if you get a good one.
You and I have to have a discussion on lighting at some point because I'm stupid blind to lighting, and there are so many
I'm ridiculous on lighting. I'm kind of a little.
situations in rooms
focused in.
and like this lighting, get out. Like we
I'm-
all look like fucking zombies with
Oh, yeah.
this shit.
Yeah.
And if he's gonna be doing like video and stuff,
Oh heavens! I'm gonna
sorry,
need
no,
theater
true
makeup.
story. No, like
I'm gonna
you
need,
look
like-
beautiful, but this is
Well,
all like
I did work
fluorescent,
all
like
day, so
and if you're
I
quiet
mean-
for a second, is all you can hear.
Right.
You know
with
what I
the
mean?
thing.
So like,
maybe some things.
and
We'll talk about that.
it truly changes the color of the walls having fluorescent lighting versus It absolutely
even think
changes.
about that.
Absolutely changes,
Pam
especially when you bring
Anderson.
in metallics and all that kind of stuff. If
Yes.
somebody has some asshole like fluorescent light
Yeah.
up it throws like a green cast on everything.
You're
no matter
right.
what, it's
You're
terrible.
right.
It's awful.
I didn't even
I hate
think
it.
about
Yeah.
that. When I take pictures and stuff, I have
But
to
I don't know how to
change-
fix whatever in a room.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
I have
lighting's
to work
horrific.
with lighting that's there.
I think there needs to be another window. So can we
Bust that
Do
out.
we have some hammers tonight? Actually, I mean,
Chainsaw would be better.
I got the
Really.
cupcake wine, so really
Just bust
anything
it
is
off and we'll
possible
cut it out.
to just go ahead and just slice open that wall.
Yeah.
Get her going.
That I wonder why they're totally well.
They're-
It's all like
There's a beam
brick
right there
and yeah.
for the-
Oh,
God, John,
Whatever,
you're such a killjoy.
dude.
Making us not use chainsaws.
but then when there is sun out, that
is the
absolutely
best.
blasts your.
No, I love it.
I know.
love-
Yeah, it
There's-
was like
okay,
the
for
only.
everyone. There's one singular window,
Yeah,
and it has
that blasts. Well,
Great
and then
light.
a couple in his office.
Yeah,
But
but
It made my eyes look amazing. I took
Right.
selfies in here
True
all
story.
day. What did
Yeah,
you think
you
I
did.
did when I was slow? I was in here taking
I'm
selfies.
being pretty.
Whatever. I'll take a selfie all day. I don't.
but yeah, I
don't
could
give
use
one
some
singular care.
tutelage in lighting because I don't know
I
how
don't
to
know.
fix.
I don't know how I can help you with that.
anything.
All I have is a fancy camera that I can just be like, hey, I can change the setting, and now this is.
So you're saying I have to go to an electrician to?
Yeah, you kind of need an electrician if you actually want to change the lighting. But
Okay.
like the fact that you even like recognize that and know that.
No, but I do need you to take beautiful photos of my work because
Yes, that I will do.
suck
That I will do all that.
at taking pictures
If
of
any-
my stuff.
If anyone out there needs a photographer to take
Yes.
pictures of their fantastic
Please.
work, get a hold
Jenn
of Jenn
Stillman
Stillman
Photography.
Do you think that
What?
you had like a lens that went over lights, so you could change the color of them? It would change the look of rooms. Like you could just carry them with you and
Heck yeah.
like slap it over a can light and be
Yes.
You mean to take a photo?
like, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It more has to do with I think angles and filters and stuff that you guys use.
I was
'cause-
just saying, like, if you were trying to take a picture of this room and all you had was the fluorescent lights, is there any way you could like
Yes.
slap something over them to
Yes.
diffuse them?
Not even yes, but you do outward lighting, kind of like in the corners. I would do like
I don't know
a
what that means.
flash, like one of those big giant umbrella looking things.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Do that lighting from over there, so the camera would more focus in on that light coming in. So this would just be more ambient, and that
See?
would be the main focus.
Ambient. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, it's a
It's
rough
a thing.
light. See, I
You don't know what
you're talking
ambient
about.
is?
Oh, but no. Technically, when you're talking about lighting,
You
no.
have a really stoic face, but no,
No.
but
I'm just gonna back out of that. No, no, I don't.
Interesting.
But Pam knows way more many things than
Hmm.
Hello,
That's a good one.
way many
It works.
things that
We
I'm
each know things the other does not.
I'm fascinated by you.
The
I
two of
really-
us together make one awesome woman.
We should just like I can't be part of a team because I have. I don't have a really good work ethic. I'm sorry about that. Is this a job interview?
No,
one told me
not
about
at all.
this.
I.
Is that why you asked me to submit my resume before I got here tonight?
Oh.
God, you guys!
It's all right.
Quit.
No pressure.
I'm gonna need a personal day. This
The-
is
the
too
thing
much
that,
for me.
Do we have
You guys do have a lot of the same interests on so many levels. One of them is the love of murder.
Are you gonna talk about murder porn?
Murder and death and ghosts and creepy shit and
You don't.
I don't understand
No,
why
not even a little
that's
bit.
not an
So we're talking
every
about artistic
person
brain.
thing.
Is that just like the thing
But
where we like put these
it
situations?
has to be because-
where we're just like. So snapped. Oh my god.
Right?
Okay.
Marathon every
So-
Sunday.
I have a
Time-
story.
He
time out
gets
about
angry
Snap,
if he
though.
comes home and
I-
I'm watching Snap.
Still have a story.
So explain to me the
Angry.
appeal. Like why? What is it?
Dude,
it's
I have
interesting.
I have a notebook.
It's,
No,
You haven't. Shut up.
right? No.
You have a
I
notebook.
should. No, I should. I have a
Please.
mental notebook.
So-
Listen, this
I've
one
seen
lady.
This one. I know what
Hey,
happens.
this one lady
What?
was a chemist.
I think.
55-gallon drum
Yes.
full of acid.
Yep.
Killed her husband.
Yep.
Put him in it.
Yep.
Taped that bitch shut.
Yep.
And the acid took care of
But
the rest.
Yep.
Why?
Right?
All right. So
Why?
you said no. Wait a
'Cause-
minute. Wait.
Oh.
What?
You guys said it was interesting. Okay.
It's so interesting.
The
Which I
mind.
I understand.
How did your mind work? What did you do? What? Yes. Sorry.
But I guess the way I look at it is, I will watch that stupid Street Outlaws show.
Ugh.
What is that?
So it's the street racing. They have these race cars and they race on the streets.
I'm already asleep.
And it's
I'm already asleep.
It is
If I was your
professional
wife-
wrestling all over again.
If I was your wife, I'd be like next to like him on like the couch or something. Be like, no, go ahead, you can watch it. I'm gonna not. I'm gonna watch murder porn on my phone. Or
He gets
like,
so angry. Like if he comes home and
No,
I'm watching
but-
Snap Marathon.
What?
Yeah.
so
He gets mad about the snap map?
well. So what I was gonna say was
John Richard.
the
Defend yourself.
Street Outlaws is obvious. It's a reality show, so it's not just a straight documentary thing.
It's a scripted
But
reality show.
it's interesting
It's
to me.
wrestling.
It's
But you also love
it's,
wrestling,
it's
didn't
not,
you?
Yeah, well, yeah. No, but what I meant was, it's like I like looking at the cars, and I'm in that business, so engines and motors
All right.
and
I'll
racing
give it
and
to
all that
you.
kind of
Right.
stuff.
I'll give it to you
Um,
on a technicality.
Got it.
I
That's a
like the
technicality.
personalities and stuff is very secondary to like I wish they would just get through the like they make me laugh every once in a while. I'm like, that's funny, or that guy's stupid, or
It's the same people every time.
no, it's a long story. There's more
Okay.
people, but
All right.
there's
all
a group of like 20 people, 20 cars that are like local, and then they race other towns, and
All right.
I'm making this sound a lot dumber than it really is.
I don't know if there's really an option B. I don't know if you could be like, no, I'm making this sound.
But I enjoy watching the show
Educational.
because the cars are super cool. Like it's something I'm very interested in. So I look at the cars and I'm like, that's awesome. Oh, I see how they built that, and I see what that is.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
All right.
What I
But-
don't understand.
Okay, so what you just described, how do they build that? How do they do that? That's really cool. The murder porn is the same thing. How
This
do they
is-
do that? How
I
do they
know.
plan that? How
But-
do they
And
get
what
away
made them
with
do
that?
it? Yes.
But that's where this gets weird for me.
Inside the
Because
psyche.
I look at
She's
it.
not okay.
Wait,
let's
but
just.
that's
She's
why-
not planning to murder you.
No,
if that's
I
what
mean-
you're concerned about, she's not planning on murdering you.
On the record, I'm not planning John's death.
Pam is not going to, in any way, wink, wink,
Do
This doesn't-
kill
anything
John.
that
This
will
is-
incriminate. Oh,
This
what?
doesn't make me feel better about
Oh, okay.
any of this, but
All right.
I guess what I was saying
It was
was
just on
I,
record. She
I look
can't be
at
pressing.
it the same way as I really don't care. Like it's awful. Like why did that person kill them? Like,
Yes,
I don't.
but this
need
is
the whole-
also why you won't watch scary movies. His rationale
John
is,
doesn't watch
I don't.
scary movies either?
No,
Are you
I hate
serious?
them.
I don't
hate
need this
them.
in my life.
I don't need the shit
Don't need
scared
what
out of
in
me.
your life.
Are you?
But
just...
he'll watch some like true story bullshit that like wrenches your heart out and you bawl for 3 hours, and it's like
Okay, so
I don't
wait.
need that
So
shit in
what
my
I'm
life.
Hearing, hold on. I feel like a marriage counselor. So what I'm hearing is,
Right, Dr.
John,
Ruth.
you are very sensitive. You like
Actually,
to
you
hear
sound
the
like
stories that
Sofia
pulls
Vergara.
at the heart. Oh my god, I love her.
Right.
That
Tits
pulls at the
forever.
heartstrings, and you're like, and Pam, you just want to know how to murder John.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying is like, I like to watch things like that, especially if it's a true thing or whatever. All right. So
So you like to watch true shit. We like to watch true shit.
So
You just
I'll-
like to know
I'll
how
give
to
you
murder people
one-
and
Not
that
like-
comes up. I don't know.
Not like
I'll give you
sad
one
stuff.
that turned me into a sad crying sack.
Die Hard
2 nights in a row.
Hallmark Channel.
No, I can't do the Hallmark Channel.
Okay.
That could be the worst produced
Yeah.
stuff I've ever seen in my
Right.
entire life.
Okay. All right.
So bad.
All right.
Especially
So
Christmas.
night before
Ugh.
last,
Yes.
I was everybody's going to bed, and I happened to come across the documentary of the Avett brothers.
Oh, you posted that
Yes.
on the interwebs.
So I stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning. I didn't want to, but it came on, and I just start watching it. So I'm all sucked in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at the end of it, just bawling like a baby, and I'm like, oh my god.
I'm
this is so
glad
good."
you can admit that
Right.
So
to our 3 listeners.
I saw it was on last night, and I played it for. I'm like, Pam, you have to sit down and watch this. And she's like, I'm tired. I had a long day.
Way
Like,
past my.
I am ready to go.
Was it like 8:30?
So what I did was like,
9.
So do you know them
I
at
love
all?
the
As a
Avett
band?
Brothers.
Do you know that song? I wish I was.
Yes.
Have you seen this documentary?
No.
So
You posted online, and I was like, I didn't even know this existed.
it just came out. I guess.
I'll
But
give it a
there's-
shot. I will.
There's a scene that goes on. It's probably about 5 minutes long, where the two brothers work that song out, and it is
So cool.
amazing.
Oh, did you actually? You stayed up
Yeah.
for this?
Yeah.
You did.
So,
Oh,
but
and
so you
it's,
cried. Did you?
bawled.
But they're going back and forth. It's like, I wish I was and then the other brother's like, I think it should be this word. And then I think it should go like this. And it's just, it's so cool.
Why?
What I thought
don't
was
wanna
cool,
cry.
what I thought was cool about it was
That's the
knowing
thing.
that song polished to see how it got there.
Right.
This is a beautiful thing. How did this beautiful thing come into creation?
Yeah.
And that makes me happy to know that. And just a quick aside.
Okay.
We go to the end, and there's a song at the end that was very touching, and I was just like,
Yeah.
oh! And I look over, and Pam is not on the same level of emotion that I am.
Is she still awake?
Like,
Still
it's
awake?
definitely touching, but I'm like,
So was I.
but you didn't seem, well, you didn't look like you were. Maybe you hit it better.
I
than
was
me.
absolutely bawling.
all
We're
right.
better at hiding things.
Because it was
Yes.
the song about
So-
the baby and the mom having the baby.
No,
and
no. The one before that, the No Hard Feelings one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, but I find that very touching in the creation of it, and like it came
Pam
from a
just
different
said,
place.
I don't want to cry. That's the thing. Like,
But-
we are a basket of emotion, like, constantly. I cry. I set aside a nice half hour in the morning just to cry at YouTube videos. I'm not kidding. And y'all laugh. I'm not kidding. I set my alarm for 6:30 in the morning. I get up. I start watching my YouTube videos, and all of a sudden, it's just like, we see the puppy from the gutter that had
Aw,
two
how about
legs,
it?
and now his name is Kangaroo, and he lives in a
Stop
foster
showing
home.
me that
And I
shit.
cry like a little baby. So
know.
like I'm
It's in
ready
your
with
schedule.
I'm ready with
Like
it's on my
shower,
schedule.
eggs, cry.
Right, but
We're-
like
Coffee,
snapped,
toast,
like those people are
snapped.
fucked up.
It's like,
Like, you're not
yeah.
gonna cry at
No,
that
you're
stuff.
gonna-
You're
you're
gonna
not
be
gonna
like,
cry.
what?
You're into
That
it.
is crazy.
But I guess what I was saying was, I find Snapped on a level of depressing way below watching that video. Like
Alright.
that video made me sad and cry, or that documentary. But Snapped is just so unbelievably sad to me that I'm like, I don't need this.
Sad.
No.
Oh,
Uh-uh.
because okay, so
And you're
you-
looking at me like
we
I'm
have
a
a
crazy
certain
person.
level of
So wait,
detachment that you do not.
family members killed each other.
Right.
But you're saying this is sad.
Right.
It depresses you.
Right.
You're looking at me like I'm a
weird.
crazy
You're weird.
person.
No. Okay, all right. No, you're right. If you're not like, I don't know. I mean, John's making some really good points.
I know, but
Now I'm
whatever.
kind of thinking like, who am I as a human?
It's like the
What do
other
I
show.
believe in?
The other show that I hate is that stupid CSI whole series that you also
can't.
loved.
I
But
I could.
that
There's
was
too many.
1,000 years
Well, I was
ago.
gonna say, you
yeah.
got into it.
75
but I
CSI.
Yes.
tapped out on that. I'm like,
That
why don't
was
you
like in the
fuckers show up and
90s.
solve a murder before it happens
Right.
once?
Yeah. No.
God,
True story.
Everybody in this show starts
you've been
off
doing it for
dead.
12 years. You
Yes.
think you know by
You
now.
could get ahead of this somehow.
Yeah. No.
But like the whole
the snaps, the murder board.
no, like talking about the like asylum stuff that you and I are also.
We're also into
Into.
that a lot.
There is the Rolling Hills Asylum
which was
that you and I made a
so-
ridiculous trek to.
Oh my god! It was like an hour and 45
it was
minutes
so
away.
effed up. When we left was the problem because we got lost.
So
but
that place was like an oldie time.
old, shut,
Closed
abandoned, shut down, whatever
Abandoned, shut
asylum.
down asylum. But it's called Rolling Hills Asylum, but it was not like it wasn't like a tuberculosis. It wasn't like an insane asylum. It was for people who were basically
Abandoned,
displaced.
right? Yes.
And they weren't violent. They weren't angry. No murders. It wasn't like there was not a morgue. There wasn't a body shoot. It was just like
Yeah.
like assisted living, pretty much. is
Kind
what it was.
of, yeah.
It's kind of like a Beacon Light kind of thing.
Yeah.
I do have a story about that. That
Beacon
happened.
Light?
No, the
Oh.
Rolling Hills.
Jeez.
The Rolling Hills. So
It's like, no.
no, Beacon Light. That's still in function. We
have
don't.
some, yeah,
if
they're
they
gonna-
were to clear out Beacon Light today, tomorrow we drive by and be like, ooh,
Yeah.
look
True.
how
We'd spend the night there.
we would totally spend the night there. But no,
Have
I-
you spent the night
in Rolling Hills?
Rolling Hills, yeah?
No. But
Okay.
What I did do,
We're gonna.
I did Jason, who we talked about last podcast. He's my boyfriend. He does tattoo work. He does body paint. He does ceramics. He does
The body paint thing. I wanna.
I know, John.
Hear
was-
about
wait,
that.
okay, so this factors in. So, Jason had to do the Rolling Hills Asylum. It was their. They did like a. I don't even know. they had psychics and mediums come in. They had people selling crystals and smelly good things, and it was just one of those fairs that, you know, the people of the abnormal come in. And it was super cool. But Jason did a body paint of his friend Leia, and he made her look like a corpse, like did her face all up, like full body paint. She was full frontal body paint. Like she had a little pair of underpants on, that's all she had. So after he got done painting her, we got the woman who owns the asylum was like, asked him to come do this for their event. So we were like, for your press, we will then take Leia, who's now all painted up like a little living dead girl corpse. We will take her around in the asylum and take pictures of her in certain areas, and then that can be like for your press,
Okay.
for the things that you do. So I'm the photographer, Leia's the model, Jason's the body painter. He paints her all day. In the middle of this big crowded room where people are, they come up, they ask questions, Leia is just right out, like just standing there with her arms outstretched. She's like,
Here
hey,
I
what's
am.
up? And she's
Yeah.
just getting like
This is me.
sprayed down, the whole thing. Afterwards, the girl, there are tours running throughout Rolling Hills. Remember where we were down in the little chapel?
Where the movie was way too loud.
Way too loud, and we were sitting on church benches.
Yes,
with
weird.
no padding.
No,
And we
nothing.
both have really
and we had like jujus or
bony
something
asses.
to yes.
Both of us
Yeah.
are like, I'm sitting on basically hip bones for
Right.
the next 2 hours. This is not fun
Yes,
for
well,
me.
this movie screams at us. We're
Can
yes.
we please? And it's the most horrible movie. It
Yeah,
was like the movie
it
from
was
like
pretty bad.
1942,
True story.
and it was,
It was
like,
supposed to put us in the
Yeah.
mood, but
yeah, they were like, here comes a zombie. And the girl's
and
like,
we kept looking at the guy in the
no.
back, like, what's he
And then
he
there's
doing?
the coffin up front that
Yes.
doesn't really do anything other than
No,
aesthetic because it's
nothing
covered with
happened
like
at all.
coats.
Right.
It's like the treadmill that
It's weird.
sits in somebody's like
story.
corner.
Our
That's
house.
basically what the coffin
Yes.
was. It was a coffin treadmill. Anyway, so we get to go up in Rolling Hills. By ourselves, not with a group. We go
Oh.
just Jason, Leia, me, and a guide. That's it. We get to go all 4 floors. We start in the basement, first floor, second floor, fourth floor, third floor, fourth floor. We go all the way up. So we start in the basement. The basement has not been messed with. The basement is how it was when the asylum was in full. They have a barber shop with the barber shop chair still there. We got to go in there. We got to go. They did mess with like a meat locker, like a freezer, a little bit for.
to take the bodies out?
No, they actually shot some scenes from American Horror Story in there.
Ah, I've never seen that. Is that
Lucy
good?
loves it.
Okay.
But it was still set up like that. And then in the kitchen and the whole thing. So, here's where shit gets creepy. I have my camera. We're following Leia around. Leia, we're in this one little dank area, and it's the light is coming in through the shadows, and it's really super creepy. And I'm like, Leia, sit on the floor, look up, look at me, and kind of turn your head a little bit, like awkwardly, like to the side. So she did. She's like, do you want me to drool? I'm like, yeah.
I mean, I would ask you that.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm like, yeah, totally
I mean,
drool. She's
yeah.
like dripping out of her mouth. Leia was a model before. She's done modeling before, so she knows, like, she's just like, do you want me to do this? Do you want me to bend backwards? Do you want me to rip off my clothes?
Right.
So she drooled a little bit, but it took off the makeup.
Yeah.
Took off the body paint off
As
her
it would.
face. And as soon as she, like, wiped it away, we're like, crap. So I look at Jason, I'm like, do you have touch-up paint with you? He's like, nope, I left it back at the station, like, 2 floors up.
Mm-hmm.
So the guide looks at me and goes, all right, well, I'll take him upstairs to get his stuff. You two stay here in the basement with no lights at all at an asylum. I'm like,
Phone flashlight.
okay, thanks, sure. It's during the day, so, like, there's ambient light coming in from outside, but it's still like, I'm in a dank-ass basement in an asylum. They go up to get it. Leia loses her mind. She's like, let's go here, let's go here. We go to a bathtub, and she sits in the bathtub, and she's all, like, reaching out of it with her hand. She finds a hole in the wall.
So, is this daytime or nighttime?
This is daytime.
Okay.
It's during the day. It's getting a little later in the day. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm down near the end of the hallway, and ambient light is coming in at the end of this hallway. It's coming in through a doorway that has like the pane glass, you know? And it's casting this really awesome shadow on the ground, and the ground is really dirty and gritty. So,
Dirty, imagine that.
Yeah, weird, down in the
Weird.
basement of an
In
abandoned
an
asylum.
asylum, yeah.
So I'm like, I want to take a picture of this. So I go to take a picture of it. As I do, I see somebody walk across in the shadow. I see like actual real footsteps, like, or legs walk across this shadow in front of me, blocking out the light, the whole thing. And I'm like, all right, Jason and the guide are on their way back. They just passed by this doorway and they're going to come around this corner any minute now. So I'm still taking pictures, whatever, and I wait,
Nuh-uh.
and I wait,
Get out.
and I wait. And it's a solid, like, 7 minutes later that Jason and the guide comes back, and I'm like, I asked the guide, I'm like, did you guys walk past this doorway right here? She's like, no, that's a utility closet. There's nothing in there. And I'm like, what do you mean there's nothing in there? She's like, there's nothing in there. She's like, the door's locked. We can't even get in there. She's like, well, the owner can, but I can't. And she's like, there's a tiny window that's, like, up above, like, the grounds on the outside around the building, but it's not to any other hallway or any other door, any other room, or leading to anything else. She's like, it's just a room. And I'm like, that's...
So was she screwing with you? Because
That's a lot of
remember,
fun.
the whole time we were there, we're like, they're doing this, and they're going to do this.
No,
and-
because I did not lead off with, I saw, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Were you, I was just like, did you guys just walk by that room? And they were like,
See,
no. And I'm like, and then Jason, who thinks I'm sensitive or something for some reason, he's like, what did you see? Like, he's all into it. He's like, tell me what you saw. So I told him. And
let me
he's
get my
like,
equipment. We're getting high readings in this room.
oh my God, look
Doop,
at,
doop, doop,
So-
doop, doop.
oh my God, my sticks are crossing.
Uh-huh.
There's definitely energy.
I had to look it up. There's a name for that actually.
What?
It's called hypnagogic, or
Give it to me.
how do you say that?
Give
It's
this
right
to
there.
me.
What's that
What
say?
does that say?
I'm not even sure how you even say
Okay, I made fun of you, but now I feel bad because I don't
that.
know. how to
Like
remember
there's
that.
too many vowels and
Hypnagogic
ends.
hallucinations, things
Yeah.
that go bump in the night.
So basically, what that is, it's a real thing. That when you wake up in the middle of the night,
But I
and you-
wasn't sleeping.
No.
All right,
But
well.
what I'm saying is, it's very much the same as if you wake up in the middle of the night and you look over and there's like a coat over a chair or something.
Oh, it's a
where
person.
you'll be 100% convinced. Your brain goes right to that.
Okay.
Like that's a person, and it happens. They said like if you're in the woods, like if you're camping, you are
Okay.
convinced that something over there is for really real. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, I can see how it can happen, like when it's dark and it's late and everybody's asleep, and I mean, you know.
Oh, do you have a story for this?
Like the one time we were sleeping together on the couch, I kept seeing in my eyes a little girl doing this around the chair.
What?
Means the living room.
Really? So do you think it was real, or do you think it was your mind playing tricks?
Mind playing tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
It
lot of times
happens.
I think that is.
it happens.
But how many times have you been convinced? Like when I worked in the woods all the time, and I would work till dark, and especially if I had to walk. So
that
this
sounds
was
terrifying.
well, it wasn't that bad, but if you had to walk, so you would like, especially if you were building road, you would build a road in 1,000
would
feet
be
or so,
Crazy.
and it would
That's
get dark. You'd park the equipment, and then you just walk back to your truck, and it'd be getting just dark or just after dark. And so it wasn't like super scary, but sometimes you would be 100% convinced
That you saw something.
that there's somebody standing beside your truck.
No kidding.
And you'd be like, oh, shit. And then as you get up there and you kind of turn a little bit, you realize like it's a shovel handle sticking out of the back of your truck, and
Got it.
there's a tree behind it, and everything, like your mind, like when you realized what it was and you looked back at it, you're like, oh, clearly it's not a person.
Right.
But I can see why I thought it was at first.
Right.
But your mind's willing to go with it. Like,
I totally get it.
and I'll tell you what the science is behind this.
What?
They said that I heard something or read something about this. They said that the reason that your mind does that is we evolved to not get killed. So our mind sort of errs on the side of
Judgment.
danger to
Right.
get us away from something. So your mind and the people that lived the longest that didn't get killed when you were cavemen were the people that woke up and saw a saber-toothed tiger and everything
Right.
and got a little bit scared and aware, as opposed to the people that were on the other end of the spectrum were
It's like
like,
the people who can go smell blind that can't smell like certain things, but they can also smell. They can walk into a room and be like, something's burning, and then they can. Like,
but they're saying that's
fend
like
off
an
the fire.
evolutionary thing that's like hardwired into us to see danger when that might not be,
So,
because the people that don't do that get
long
eaten
story
by
short,
saber-toothed
Jen and I
tigers.
are going to live longer.
Then
Did you see it everywhere?
every single place. But here's the thing, I understand that, like, I get that that's a thing, because I do it too. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'll look into the corner of the room and I'll be like, someone's standing there, and then the more I let my eyes adjust, I'll be like, no, it's my dresser with my Jerry Garcia doll on top of it, because I still have my Jerry Garcia doll from college, whatever, judge me. So, but
Chucky
this,
doll.
I can't have a Chucky doll in the house. Lucy
Why
was
not?
right. She
Oh, okay.
loves those movies. Anyway,
Right.
so, but this thing that happened when I was at the asylum was, number one, you know how I go to Gettysburg all the time, and like, it's so haunted, there's ghosts everywhere. I've been there for 36 of my years and like had like 2 experiences that I can actually be like, I can't really explain that away. That's it. The rest of them just like, this was stupid, blah, blah, blah. But this thing at the Rolling Hills, like, for me to just be like taking pictures, and when I'm taking pictures, I'm focused. I'm looking at my camera lens, I'm looking at light, I'm not paying attention. And to see actually something like step, 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 step right in front of me, and for me to not be immediately like, oh my God, it's an entity, but instead just be like, oh, well, they're coming back around. They'll be here in a second.
But that's what I was saying. And what made me think of it was it's the perfect setup.
This is why we have murder porn, because you're wrong, John.
No, what
You're
I was saying is
wrong.
it's the perfect setup where you were your mind was primed to expect them to be walking back.
Right.
So it could have, I guess what I'm saying is like
Okay.
it could have been the wind blowing or a rat running by or something.
Ooh, a rat. Never thought of a rat.
Or
better,
it could have been
really.
something like that.
I love
And your
rats.
mind instantly goes, oh yeah, it's those guys coming back.
Okay.
Like,
And
that's
then when
what
it's
you were
not
expecting.
them, and now there's no other explanation.
Right, and that's what I'm
Now
saying.
we're
There,
just okay.
there probably is another explanation, you just don't know it.
All right.
But that's
Okay.
where I get all weirded out on the ghost stuff, where
All
it's
right.
like you were expecting something, you experienced exactly what you were expecting,
Right.
and then when you found out it wasn't,
Yeah.
you don't go, oh, what was
What's
that?
the
You
other
go,
explanation?
it has to be a ghost.
Oh, weird. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
All
that's
right.
where I'm always at with that kind of stuff.
All
Like,
right. Okay. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, actually.
I
That's,
might not be right either, though.
I mean, you're never right, but you're not wrong. So, it's this weird little vibe, this little wavelength that you exist in. You're not
I mean,
right.
do you
You're not
think
wrong.
there's ghosts?
Yes.
Do you think that?
Yes, I do.
What makes you sure? And
Sure.
so, what kind of ghosts do you think they are? Like, are we talking like?
Well,
in
there's
this-
2 schools of thought on this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what kind of ghosts do you believe in? Is there like energy in this room that we really can't
here,
tell?
no.
Or is there like a 19 Civil War soldier limping through the room like every ghost story you've ever seen with one leg? Like, and how come there's not new ghosts?
There are new ghosts.
Like that stupid thing that goes on Facebook. How come there's not ghosts that's not like, I'm Brittany, bitch?
There's not new ghosts in like
Brittany's
hammer
still
pants.
Yeah,
They're just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't like. I do think that there are, but I feel like there's more like turmoil, I guess, before in the past, where it's just like all of a sudden it's just like,
It's an
oh,
energy.
You have cholera. Oh, you're dead 14 minutes later. But now it's like, now everyone's like, you know, like there's things to keep people alive to the point where they're just like, we're just going to make you comfortable and then you pass. And they don't really have any unfinished business. Back in the day, if you're in the Civil War, you get your face shot off. You have unfinished business.
I don't know if
I don't know that I believe in ghosts.
Well, and the other thing is, there's more people dying a day now than there ever has been in history.
Well,
What'd you say?
There's
then,
more people dying a day now than there ever has been in history.
Yeah, but
because you
that's
got to
from
remember,
meth. And,
it's not just meth.
and they have no idea.
But what I
they're
meant
dead.
is, there's
So-
And
however
they're not even here
6,
anymore.
7
They're not
billion
coming
people
back.
in the world, and 1,000 years ago, or 100, or 200, there was less. Like we've had this. Well, just in America. So
I think
we'll just go.
trauma, dude. Trauma plus I think it's just trauma equals a great ghost
So
story.
you think but you think it's a story?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's like that actually transports that person into the next dimension and
There's some kind of an energy, something that,
There has to be, I think.
or just a strong belief in us poor mofos that want to see something
Better, more,
happening. Yes.
more.
I don't know and I don't care. I enjoy
do you
it.
think that because what's weird about ghost people this is what I always get a little bit weird.
Yeah,
The people that are sure there's ghosts
yeah.
are usually really religious too.
Oh yeah.
And what's weird about that is you're really religious and you're convinced there's a heaven and a hell,
Yeah.
but some people don't get that. Like,
The whole
wait, what?
soul issue.
so you're completely all in on the religious belief, which whatever, like everybody has their own thing, but you also believe that there's some people that don't catch the bus to heaven or hell and have to limber around in an old
What
house
I
somewhere.
dig is that there doesn't really have to be a belief or a science or a right or a wrong or anything when it comes to like the spiritual energy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it just exists, it just exists. You don't have to believe in an afterlife or a soul or the whole thing. Like if you do, that's amazing, great, good for you. Keep on keeping on. But if it just exists, it's kind of like science. It just is. It's just this little, because they have all these like ghost
I'm
shows and the
Yeah,
whole
down
thing
with
but
where you wave it, like you have a little thing and you're like, you catch the EVP, you
But
catch
they
like the
don't.
wavelength.
That's what I'm just saying though. This is where
But if you catch an EVP, an electronic voice phenomena, for those who are not
but
in the
none
know,
of those
but
hold up
Wait,
to scrutiny
phenomena
though.
isn't spelled.
That's
with
what I
an
was saying about what's
Phenomena.
different about.
it's in a song.
So
Pam.
let's
Get with it.
dumb this down to the basics.
You always disprove every single
Gravity-
one of my arguments
Gravity
by playing dumb.
Gravity is
John.
science, okay? 100 times I can pick this can up and drop it, it's gonna fall.
Yes.
So somebody can go,
Because that's just gravity.
I have a scientific theory that and it's provable, it's science.
Yes.
That every time this is gonna fall and we come up with the reasons why.
Got it.
But ghost stories fall apart immediately. It takes a leap of faith
But how?
to go,
How?
Yep,
like
that's
I
a
mean,
good-
but like, how? Immediately though, like, is it just like?
it depends on the person looking at it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So
You
I
can't
think,
you can't universally say that everybody that you meet, if you walked up to everybody that you came across tomorrow and and gave them this can
Yes.
and they drop it, they're
Oh,
gonna go, there's
right.
gravity.
But,
But you can give it, if you came up to everybody you met tomorrow and showed them the video of the footstep thing that you experienced in that basement,
Yeah.
a couple
They
people
can always come
a
up
cou-
with a different.
well, a couple
one.
people can go, oh, that was obviously the wind. A
Yeah.
couple people can go, that was some animal running across there. Some other people can go, that was somebody walking across. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't hold up to universal scrutiny. It's disproven almost immediately. For something to be true, it has to be like universal. And then if you're going to take a jump into the woo-woo, which is fine, and you believe what you want, I feel like what drives me nuts about that kind of stuff and why I get so angry about it is I feel like
Why
too
is
much-
that doll moving?
possessed.
Okay.
But so many people just get flat taken advantage of
They
in
do.
all this.
They do.
It
I
drives
get
me
it.
bonkers. I feel bad for people.
I get it. But however, there are some things that like cannot be disproven. Like it's not a universal like. You know,
What?
the dropping the cup issue, but there are some things that can't be discounted, like with like EVPs or like things happening or like people being like, I saw my grandpa,
But
whatever,
on the-
whatever. There are some things that can't, but like those things, like in the scientific community or whatever, they get chalked up to just be like, oh,
No, they don't get chalked up to that.
they do.
They get
though.
no, they don't.
There
they
are. You're saying
So what-
to me?
No. They get chalked up to we don't know what it is. We
Exact-
need to
I just said. no.
we need to
That's the same
but no,
thing.
there's a difference between
It's
going
the exact same thing.
there's a difference between going I heard footsteps walking across there. I'm sure they're footsteps.
Right.
She didn't hear them, she saw them.
But wait a minute.
Difference.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Either way. I saw something walking across there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It has to be a ghost.
No.
Science
that
goes-
can be. That.
Science goes, we
That
We
is
have
a
something
leap
we
she
can't-
did not make.
No.
Thank
but
you, Pam.
That is
you
the.
need to be here all the time.
So what was it?
What I was saying is that, yes, what I experienced, yeah, totally can be explained away. Rats, air ducts, whatever.
But that's what I'm saying about every ghost sighting is
Not every.
there's so many of these
I'm
variables.
saying there's some. There are some that have been presented to the community at large that they are just like, they've tried every which way to try to be like, this, and this, and they didn't get it. So then in the end, they're just, like, and that's how they just explained that away. It's not gravity. It doesn't happen every time, but it was
I know
something
exactly
that
what you're
did
saying.
happen that is not able to be like, it was air. They just couldn't get it taken. They couldn't get it like explained away. It
Right.
was something that was just a
And well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying there's not unexplained things,
right.
but there's a group of the population that
You're
will
just a not believer.
jump towards
Non-believer.
explaining it
Just
for something.
stepping
Non-believer.
over happiness.
Just a
Well,
non-believer
by the
guy.
what kills me about all this stuff, and it's not what you're talking about. I don't think you guys feel that way, but anytime you have something like that, they're like, science can't explain this. This is proof that there's an afterlife and a ghost. And it's like, no, by your very argument that science can't explain this, we don't know what it is. So for you to definitively say that it's from the other side, quote
Right.
unquote, is completely erroneous.
Pam, I would really
we-
love your opinion on this one.
All right, I have to-
because you have to argue. You have to pee.
Yeah, I do.
Can we pause it?
I need to
So we
pee
can
too.
regroup.
Well, we could.
Ladies and gentlemen,
All right, we're going to take
Pam
a
and I
pause.
need to get our argument together.
All right. And then we will revisit this.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
All right, here we
Hold
go.
on.
Pause.
Can I go with?
Okay,
Here's how you're wrong.
Here.
Here's how you're wrong. So I asked Pam in the off time, have you ever experienced anything that you can't explain away?
Mm-hmm.
She said yes. And then I said, she said 2. And I said, all right, well, and she said 1 came from Piper, your own child.
Mm-hmm.
This is from a itty bitty who has no prerequisites when it comes to outside influence. They just said it and it just happened. So that has some merits. Do you disagree?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If Piper came in here
Yeah.
and
Now.
Right now, I'd be like, okay.
Influenceable.
No.
Yes.
if Piper came in here and said, so this is the classic thing with kids, said, Mom, I want to go to McDonald's when we leave here.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I don't have enough money. And she goes, well, just go to the bank and get some. She has a rudimentary, elementary view and explanation of the world.
Got it.
And again, she experiences something. And she uses that elementary understanding of how the world works to explain it to you. And you go along for the jump.
Okay, but here's how you're wrong. Pam?
Here's my story. Our child.
We need some background music. Like
All right.
lightning
good
bolts
one.
and like...
You can provide it. I'll keep. Okay. So she was she was just learning to talk. My father had passed away.
Glorious man, by the way.
Thank you. Very shortly before this.
Before he passed.
No. He had passed, and this was very shortly after.
Okay.
One morning, I went in and got her up, and she was kind of tired and whatever, and she was still learning words, and she said, out of nowhere, still forming words and
Thoughts,
sentences
words,
and whatever,
sentences.
and said, Grampy Harry.
Okay.
Nice. You know, because, of course,
Piper needs some crackers.
she had heard a lot about, you know, Grampy Harry and whatever.
Right.
when my dad was very sick in the ending months and years,
Yeah.
basically, he never, in her presence, played guitar. Or
He played guitar?
yes.
Oh,
He was
where'd he-
big on singing and playing guitar.
What a glorious man he was.
All right, hang on
But,
a second, though. Before you go any farther.
She didn't know that.
Wait, how do you know Grandpa Harry plays guitar? You can talk. It's okay. Oh, you got a crack in your mouth? Oh, dang it. I'm sorry.
Put her on the spot.
And right when she just put a crack in her mouth. All right, speak up loud.
At the age of almost 6.
I noticed that when I came in, behind the chair, I saw a little thing sticking up, and I didn't know what that was. So I came behind the chair, and it was a guitar.
When was that?
Probably
Was it recently or a long time ago?
a lot.
Okay.
Like when we had the sleepover with David.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then our next time, I found out David was playing the guitar.
Right. Okay.
Then I got more clues and more clues of that was Grampy Harry's.
Right. But you didn't know it until the sleepover.
He never played
Okay.
guitar he never played guitar for you?
No, but David did.
Okay.
David did. All right,
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
That's
pretty
fair
cool.
enough. That's fair
Okay,
enough.
so
I just wanted to.
So when she was super tiny, and I went in the morning there,
So
Take her
this
out.
has to be like
Probably
maybe
2-3 months
Yeah.
Yeah,
after
But I'm
he
saying,
passed.
how old was she?
She was, well,
2-ish?
2-ish.
but not yet. She was about 1.5 years when he passed.
Okay.
Anyway, I went in and she was kind of tired and whatever, and she said Grampy Harry, and I said, what about Grampy Harry? She said, in her child speak, not forming full sentences, Grampy Harry play tar.
Really?
And I said, play tar. I can't remember what I said, but I didn't want to lead, whatever. And I said, yep, he played tar. And she says, in my room. And he had never
Ben.
in her bedroom. And I'm like, I said, oh, I said, that's nice. I said, when did Grampy Harry play tar in your room? And she said, last night. And I'm like, just kind of asked a couple questions like,
Yeah.
in here? And she's like, yeah. And she says, in that chair. Grampy Harry play
right.
tar. Grampy Harry play tar.
Oh,
I was like, this
Grampy Harry play tar.
Play tar.
Grampy Harry play
Do you
tar.
remember this?
No.
Right. So that disproves right there. No, but
Never proven ever done.
No.
Good
But yeah.
I was
right.
just asking. You do?
no, I was
Actually,
just
the
like,
first time I
oh,
came in there, I saw that guitar,
okay.
and that was
I
that.
knew he had a guitar.
Okay.
Like
Sure.
Grampy Harry play tar in my room,
Okay. All right.
and
That's
I
good.
could absolutely see him.
All right. Again, it's not.
It's not scientific proof of
play-
anything.
Exactly. I would
Of
play
course.
devil's advocate with John and be like, "This
Yeah.
is not gravity. You can't drop a cup and murder."
No.
Got it.
I just-
But
I was
it
just
is
like,
what
"Aw, that's fun."
is this?
And then there was one
nonsense?
other.
Well, just
I'll
hang
just-
on.
What's he want? No. All right.
For 1 second, before you
Okay.
go on to your next one.
Oh, okay.
I, what I'm saying about it is, I feel like there's a gigantic bias of something that you want to believe, whether it's consciously or subconsciously.
Okay.
So subconsciously, you knew that Jason was coming back, so your mind was tuned for that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
Tell the story of how he died.
I'm not saying that there's stuff that you can't explain. What I'm saying is,
Right.
in certain times and in
Yes.
certain situations, you were tuned to go there.
Hear something.
And I
or
don't want to say
see
you're hearing. I
something.
don't want to be so glib as to saying you're just hearing what
You
you
just
want to
hear
hear.
what you want to hear. I
Right.
get it.
I don't feel like it's like that. But I feel like at the same time, you never hear these stories. So like this story, right? Like you're telling today, this is the same kind of story you've probably heard a fair amount of times, that recently somebody passed and then I had this experience. Why isn't it my grandfather, so for instance, my grandfather died 35 years ago.
You're 87 years old.
You know
Well,
what
your
I should have
grandfather
said? I
died.
might have
But
just said
my
roughly 50
my
years.
grandfather
Sometimes
passed away
I just
35
could've
years
said
ago,
this when you
Jesus.
weren't looking.
All right.
and you never hear stories of my 35-year-old grandfather shows up now. Like you just don't hear those.
Because maybe there's only a certain window where
Like
they
we were-
can't.
But-
I don't know.
Okay, what we were talking about earlier with Piper's hair. How Piper's hair is gorgeous. Gorgeous, blonde, flowing locks. With her highlights, her natural highlights are just gleaming. And you know why they are? It's because her hair has not been messed with. Her hair is natural. Her hair has been exposed to nothing. And that's how her hair maintains the glorious bounce and the highlights to it. I think same thing with the brain. Same thing with your experiences. They're not tainted by anything else. You're young. You're little. Your hair is young and little. Like whatever
Well-
happens to it, it just naturally happens, and we're just more apt to be like, her highlights are beautiful because it's just never been dyed. Your brain is not your brain is not like made to think that this is wrong or this is right because of outside influences.
But
Your itty bitty
I
things
guess
are coming
I guess
in.
to finish what I was saying there, and I'm going to go right on to what you're saying, but you always hear of these stories, and these stories are always predicated by somebody had a loss, they're mourning something, and this happens in a relatively short period of time.
Right.
So maybe you're saying there is a interdimensional connection that stays open for a finite amount of time, or maybe somebody's super in tune to, and this is what I was going to say, you're either super in tune to the suggestion of that, or you're super in tune to that, like your
You're
connection.
waiting for a
Yeah.
cue.
Well, no,
I
not
don't-
even waiting for a cue. So I'm willing to go. It could be either or. You could be either super open to suggestion, or you could be super in tune to any vibes, things that come your way from the nether region that you normally wouldn't. But here's where it all falls apart for me.
I would love to know this actually.
I feel like we're all relatively rational, sane, intelligent people. There are a lot of fucking crazy people out there. So
Yeah.
you spread this over the population with just those premise, those
Right.
two things, and you have the makings of crazy town.
Well, sure.
And then I think there's also the other side of this, where you said Piper was 1.5 years old. So where did she come from? Where did her consciousness come from? Did it come from?
So you're doing
this-
like the nature versus nurture kind of?
No. What I'm saying
Like-
is, she comes from the same place that your dad went to when he passed away. Because we don't have any other explanation for it.
So you do believe, and there's some kind of like pulsive.
I would be
energy.
willing to go. It's possible that because we
Okay.
like where were you before you were born?
Good God.
No idea.
Possibly the
In
same.
someone's belly.
True. That is a
Alright.
great answer.
Thank you, Piper.
But did you not exist? Did you?
Yes, she did
I'm kind of
exist.
thinking.
But I'm willing to
You
go.
just always existed? Is that what you're saying, Piper? All right.
But I'm willing to go that maybe you come from and
There's
go
a
to the
lot
same
of
place,
pictures around.
and maybe there's a connection there. Who knows?
Did you just say there's a lot of Pipers around?
Like this kid
All
at
right.
school. He's
But-
a kid.
Like
It's-
this kid.
But on the flip side of all this, why I always hate to even say anything about this, and I feel like we're removed enough from it now, is you never want to say to anybody that had that experience, like, I don't know,
You're
dude.
full of shits.
You
Right.
sure you weren't drunk? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
So
You know what I mean?
here's my second
so
story.
Yes. Okay.
but what I was gonna-
Wait.
Sorry,
what I was
go
gonna say
ahead.
is those things never get challenged at all. With
Right.
and I don't even mean like
I
harshly.
would say never again.
If somebody told you that your
Fishing
father,
is challenged.
wait,
constantly.
if your
Smells good.
If your
What's
father
that?
told,
Dad sounds
if somebody told you a story about their father passing away a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and they told you a
No,
story
of
like
course.
this, you'd just
You're
be
not
like,
going to be like, that's bullshit.
holy
right?
shit. You'd be like,
Well,
I don't know, dude.
No, I know.
Like, were you high?
Well, and so here is somewhat of a story that
Your second story.
got that response more or less 100%.
Okay.
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 Katie worked here.
Yeah.
I also worked here.
I love it.
Katie, on a few occasions, brought her old dog DJ
Yeah.
here with
I
her
loved having an
to
office
work
dog,
with her.
by the way.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
DJ passes away.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably 2 weeks later, which, it was upsetting. She knew it was coming, whatever,
She
but
did know. Wasn't she the one that made the call on?
I believe.
Yes. Okay. Worst thing you ever have to do as an adult human being.
This room we're sitting in at this moment
Yes.
was my office at the time.
Yes, correct. It was.
Hers was down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
And there came a point in the day where I had to go to her office for something.
Mm-hmm.
This was a couple weeks after DJ had passed.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's over it, whatever. I get up, I get to the doorway,
Mm-hmm.
and I see DJ walk
Shut
from
your mouth.
that room,
Out of nowhere. You weren't even thinking about it. You just
No.
walked down the hall to just go talk to Katie.
and saw DJ make the corner and head to her office. And I slowed down to walk behind him.
Did you
and then
tell
I'm
her?
like, and then I'm like, wait. And I look back into my office and look back.
Nothing.
gone.
Clearly, yeah. Did you tell her
Yes. But
at
I
that
came
moment?
back in here for a second and I'm like,
Is someone else's dog here?
what
Did I just?
happened? So I just kind of got together,
Shit.
walked down the hall, and talked to her about whatever I had to go in there for in the
Right.
first place.
Right.
And then I was like, so, by the way, I just saw your
So
recently deceased dog walk down the hall,
wander into your office.
headed to your office, until I came
Did
to my
she
senses
say anything
and went.
like?
And she was just like, oh. I don't know if she believed
Processed
me
it
or was
correctly.
like,
Okay,
okay, crazy girl,
Yeah.
whatever. But, like, as I was headed out the door, he came around the corner and was heading to her office. And I saw it and I'm like, oh, I'll just walk behind him. And then I'm like, wait. He's gone.
He's
and I
gone.
looked back in my office and looked back and it was over. But there was just that thing where I'm
Out
like,
of nowhere.
and it's not like he was here every day.
I
So
don't
I
think
was
he was ever
used-
here.
She brought him.
Not a
She
ton.
brought him
but
a couple times.
I remember DJ
But-
here. I remember the dog that she got after
Duncan.
Duncan.
Yes.
I remember him.
But
being
he
here.
was here a couple times, so it's not like I was used to seeing him make that trek every
Right.
day. So it's something
like
that
I said,
just
I
my
don't
brain
even remember
just
him
did.
being here.
Yeah, but I'm like,
okay, you can tell us about that.
Does John?
Yeah.
So,
what's your?
are you saying that you have never experienced anything like
Those are
that?
my two things. That's it.
Like a thing that you just can't be like.
So
Those are my only two.
I'll
things.
I'll give you one.
It's not like I have
You'll give us
100
one?
things.
I'll give you one that I thought, and then when I looked back, I was like, I was purely crazy, like I was emotionally fucked.
Well, we're all emotionally.
But so I had a dog that went with me
mess.
every day,
yeah.
and long story short,
Oh,
like
this is the dog that you love that got.
Max.
yeah.
Okay.
So this dog spent 24 hours a day with me. Like I didn't go anywhere he went
Right.
with. Like I mean like if we went to a hotel room he came with.
Mm-hmm.
If I left him alone, he wouldn't get out of my truck.
Yep.
He's
I
like
remember- I
I'm
remember
just going to
this-
lay him his truck till he
I
comes
remember
back.
you telling me about the dog, not
So
the
so
experience you
you
had.
end up getting super connected because like in the morning when you wake up, he's right there and he was such a good dog without really having it to be any work to get there. And he would just follow you like
With a black lab, right?
yellow.
Yellow.
Yellow lab.
Wait, did you
Yellow
have
lab.
to pee ever?
Because
Yeah, oh yeah, he peed all the time. But anyways, he gets killed, and then I am a relatively shit comes and it goes, and
Stoic.
life goes
Yeah.
on sort of person. And
Used to be.
I get sad.
happens.
No, I get sad. Like, it's sad you're not going to see this or that
Clearly, we
anymore.
talked about it. Hallmark Channel. Go ahead.
But I, at that point, was pretty hard lined. Like,
Because you still work
stuff-
for your dad at this point, right?
He never cried. He was too cool.
whatever.
I'm sorry.
But
That
anyways,
was harsh.
he got run over, and so I'm going along, and it's super depressing when you spend that much time,
Yeah, no,
like
it is.
24 hours
It
a
is.
day. Like, you're getting up in the morning and expecting to go down the hall, and you're like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just starts to get like this muscle memory thing where you're
Yeah.
expecting him to brush by you.
Right.
You're expecting to go out to the
course.
truck. You're expecting, like, when you stop to feel him on the back of the seat, or
Yeah.
like there's so many things that if
I do
enough
it
years
now
go
with
by.
Brutal. If I stay overnight somewhere, I wake up in the morning and the first thing I think, not even Lucy, because Lucy's a fully functioning kind of adult at this point, Brutal. I think when I wake up, I'm like, when I move, the second I move, take a breath that isn't a sleeping breath. Brutal is going to be like, hi, are you awake?
Yeah.
You're awake.
Let's
now.
go run around.
What are you doing?
Right.
Because he's an idiot.
So the dog gets killed. I'm still working in the woods at this point. And I started to notice butterflies landing.
Did you know about this?
Yeah, because I come home and I said, I'm like, I think, like Max is transcended. He's a butterfly now. And
What? What?
Black butterflies.
Black. They were always black.
so,
Always black.
yeah, but what's funny about this? That was like shortly after he'd gotten killed. That was what, 10 years ago,
Oh, more
15
than
years
that.
ago, a long time ago.
Well, you guys got
years
married
ago.
when you were juniors
Guess what?
in high school. so-
Right.
I finally one day realized butterflies land on shit near me all the time.
Even to this day?
Yes.
Did they before though?
Yes.
Really?
Of course they did.
Did
Did
they?
they land on his grave?
Maybe. But you
For sure.
but this is what I'm trying to say.
No.
You're in a state where you're willing to give weight to something
Credence to something that,
that
may
is
not matter.
probably
But-
most likely already happening at random. And like your experience that you were talking about, not saying it didn't happen,
Right.
but maybe you misinterpreted, just like I misinterpreted the butterflies landing, because that gave me some sort of peace, and that's
Of
kind of
course,
what I
and why
would
the fuck
want.
Like at Max turned
Why
into
not?
a butterfly.
That makes you feel better about the thing. It gives you
Yes,
some
why not?
peace
Sure.
and like, all right,
It makes you like
he's
feel a
not just
little bit
gone into the
happy.
void. He's
Does.
still somehow.
Thank you, Piper. Piper is
And-
right. So number like
And
there's
so
a twofold.
what I'm going to say was about that. So there's two possibilities. There's three possibilities.
Three. I only had
Possibility one.
I saw the damn
is-
dead dog. That's all I know.
Well, I'm not even talking about that one. I don't even
Oh,
know what to tell you about that one.
alright.
But there, possibility one.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad came back and played guitar one night in the room.
Yeah.
Possibility two.
Piper's like, yeah, that's it.
Piper had a dream about that and told you about it, which is
Sure.
probably the most likely
Maybe.
scenario.
Drive this
But how'd
way.
she even know? Anyway, go ahead.
But I mean, if you think about this more, music and your dad was a big part of his life.
She didn't know that
I
because
didn't-
when
I
he
didn't
was
know
so
that.
sick, when
Yeah,
he was
but
so
he-
sick,
You don't know. I guess what I'm
He
saying
just
is you don't know
wished
where
he could play
what
the
you could
guitar.
have you
Of
could have
course,
picked up
sure.
that influence
just-
that he played
When
guitar.
He was
That's
sleeping when they like had to give him shots. He was just like this jamming of this. Play the guitar to Piper.
right.
Play the guitar to Piper.
Or it could have been a
Right.
third thing that you just misinterpreted. Like you were primed to believe that. And what I'm saying is, I'm not saying it didn't happen one way or another.
Right.
I'm just willing to
Dream
go.
crusher.
Could be one of those three things.
right?
Okay.
And that's where it gets all weird
That's
because
when you get to your like gravity is gravity. This cup will fall every time. Where you cannot, no one can, because like a scientific way of proving something is do it 3 times. Now it's scientifically proven. You can't do something 3 times when it comes to like an experience like that. 'Cause it's like it happened once. I don't know. And then you go back and you're like, it's not doing it here now. You kind of have to take it on not its merits, because when we become like tainted human beings as an adult, you can't take things on just their like tainted merit. It doesn't work that way, because who knows what else we have going on in our brain. But I honestly think there are some things that can be taken to the point where they're valid. They're valid. They carry validity. Carry validity.
All right.
To the viewer, even. And it
yes,
doesn't matter.
and this is what I was trying to say. I don't think that there's not value in that experience.
There's
Like
always, there's
you
always
were,
that. Sure.
you were in, mourning, and you're depressed, and you're, missing this person, and that brings you something that makes you feel better.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, when you multiply that experience by everybody that's had that experience,
Right.
we can't, like, I'm having a hard time going, there is definitely some sort of afterlife. Like, we can't 100% go one way or the other
You're
and
right.
explain it. But I don't
You
think
are
there's anything
right.
wrong with thinking that, like, what's the harm,
Why do you keep
unless
trying to debunk us?
you turn into one of these people that, like, starts building shrines.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, and starts getting weird
mean,
about it.
He's a
Are we
hard-ass
done with this
dude.
yet?
You
So I
can't
can go put my tinfoil hat on?
No, but
And-
what I'm
I
saying,
know. I have
The
to kind of
aliens
get back
out
to my
and-
spaceship
yeah.
and like. No, I did have an experience in my grandparents' house, and I told my cousin about it, about how I had this experience. I was scared to talk about it. Not like scared to talk about it, just
is
because
this a Me Too story?
No. I had this thing, and I just didn't really
Time's
ever
up.
tell anybody about it. But I eventually did tell my cousin about it, who lived in my grandparents' house for a while. And I was like, after that experience that I had, I would not stay at Grandma and Grandpa's house. She's like, oh yeah. She's like, no, all the time. She's like, I lived there. I lived in that hallway. That shit happened on the steady
Oh.
all the time. She's like, it happened like to the point where it didn't even affect me anymore. I heard it, I saw it, didn't happen, like it didn't even faze me after a while. And I'm just like, I've waited 20 years to tell somebody this. And she's like,
I've been holding this
I
inside. all
kept
day.
I've
this
been holding
in
this
my
inside.
underwear drawer
Yeah,
since
no,
I was
she's like-
13.
yeah, I was like, I was scared of Grandma and Grandpa's house after this moment, and I never stayed there again. She's like, I lived there after it, and I had to basically every night, what you just described to me, every night. And I'm like, how, like, did Grandma, explain it away to me, or to you, like she did to me? And she's like, yeah, she totally tried. She's just like, pipes or plumbing, whatever. She's like, but after, like, it stopped at my doorway and I saw it, I was just basically like, I live here, so where else am I gonna go? I just kind of, like, gave credence to it, and then I just got used to it. It still happened, but
What could you? And this is what I always wonder about this. No, wonder about this stuff is. So right now today, with all the 2018 technology we have,
yeah,
could we go back and capture that?
yeah, probably. Honest to God.
So why doesn't
Yes.
somebody?
Well, the house
And
sold.
why doesn't?
The house sold. If it did not, and it was still in our family, I would go there right away and
But
get it.
this is what I'm saying about this. Like with all the technology we have today, you would think there. Why don't we have like?
But there is shit that's captured, and then people like you, John Anderson.
Yeah, but when you
will be
watch
like,
them, you're like,
well, maybe the acoustics were off, and then sometimes maybe there's an echo.
But there's none of them that are like 100%. This is what I'm saying about all these. So
Can't
if
say
None of that can be 100%.
haven't seen
no,
None
None of it
yes,
can be
it could be.
100%.
So what you're
How?
saying? What?
How? Tell me. How?
All right, but you know what is 100%? The snap bitches that put their husbands in a
All right.
50
So, wait. Time
What?
out.
Wait, no.
drum of
All right. Wait.
acid.
Before we go there, two things. All I was saying
That is
was,
100%.
if you in different time periods
Mm-hmm.
were able to experience the exact same thing that your family member did in that house,
Yes.
somebody else with some level of repeatability
Yeah.
should have been able to go there and capture that.
We just weren't thinking about it. It
But-
wasn't like a thing that is...
But what I'm saying is, if this happens on a regular basis, all over the world, somebody right now should be able to pull up their cell phone every day and be like,
And then
"Bro,
it's disputed.
there's
And
But
then it's disputed.
because they're all-
it's Photoshop. It's created out of nowhere. It's blah, 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 blah.
But it's not like every day. Oh, it's Monday. There goes the ghost. It's Tuesday. There goes the ghost. It's Thursday. There goes the ghost. It's this one
If there was,
shitty,
though-
sketchy video.
If there was, though, and you saw it, you would do the same exact thing you're doing now. You'd be
No, I
like,
wouldn't.
there's reasons.
I would go. All right, we probably ought to check that out. Let's see what it is.
We're going to look
Piper.
this up.
Piper has a
Okay.
story she's been patiently waiting to tell.
Please, Piper, do.
Do you know how Max got run over?
Oh, I didn't know you were gonna tell that story.
Oh, God.
No.
Pam's just like, I'm going to tell you.
I thought you were gonna tell the story about the girl walking around the chair.
No.
Tell that story.
After.
The girl what?
After I tell the story how Max died.
All right, go ahead and tell that real quick.
Once Jen gets back in.
No, we gotta wait for Jen now. But what I'm like, I feel really bad right now about taking the counterpoint to the story that you told about the guitar. I'd like
That's
it,
all right.
but what I'm saying is, I feel like I wish I would have just not. And it's been several years, and we can just talk about that as a thing that happened. You know what I mean? It's not like in the moment where you're like, you know what I mean? Like you don't; those things don't get looked at
no,
with the same.
it's not something that I hang on to and whatever. It's just something kind of cool that's tucked
Right.
in the back of my mind that I'm like, oh, you know.
And it is in that moment, it's something that was
Of course.
Good.
It was
Like, yeah.
amazing, yeah. And that's, I think, the value to every one of those stories.
But all this stuff, I feel like people really get taken advantage of.
Oh, I'm sure. Like Long Island Medium and
Yeah, all that kind of
yeah.
stuff, and like
I
we're
mean, that's-
primed to believe.
Do the story of how Max died. Then
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Oh, Piper.
So Piper's got a couple
What do you
stories.
got?
So Max one day was laying on the road for some reason.
He's tired.
He was tired. And a truck didn't see him and he ran over Max. So then Dad feels really sad and he had to bury him in the woods.
Right
That's
that
not a
day?
good place to bury him. Bury him
Nice.
to a funeral, dude.
Okay.
I love her. Piper's
So-
now my new, icon.
She's been laying pretty easy on the bros tonight too. She bros up pretty
She
good.
bros?
It's
know,
usually
but
bro.
Every time the lights are down and I can't see anything, it seems like when I was waking up seeing the kid was doing this, walking around a chair, and she was black.
Really?
She was walking around a chair.
Where at?
At your house?
I saw it with my
Pam.
eyes, but I knew it was just my mind messing with me.
Really?
Probably.
That's why I moved over to you.
All right.
When was that?
Our last sleepover.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And
Oh, yeah.
and I saw a man, of course, walking down the stairs and hanging
Of
on the
course.
pole and doing this. Like,
Swinging around. All right. All right.
ow.
I feel
But was it real life?
I feel like the John thing is life is very suggestive, and you do get very suggestive with
course.
things. But there are some things that just should I maybe give this a little bit more credence? Well, you know what? Here's what we have to do. Number one, end this podcast. Number two, we need to do a little bit more research into this and come back to this topic with a little bit more information to prove John wrong, because there's nothing I like more
Yeah, but
than proving John wrong.
why do you want
too.
to prove me wrong?
Because you are a skeptic, sir. There are things out there to believe.
But
Do, do, do.
pro wrestling is real.
No, it's not. See,
Oh my God, you guys, wrestling.
Ask him that
We're
in
not-
1998.
This
I
is
didn't-
another topic.
I didn't.
I love Andre the Giant. We're not getting into this
But-
right now. We're not getting
I
into
need
this
to
right
watch
now.
my stories.
Which is John's Wrestling, which is our Snapped, which is another, guys, another day.
Yes.
Another day.
All right, we need to
Another day.
wrap this up.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Bye.
Piper. Thank you, Pam.
Peace out, bro.
Thank you, John.
Peace
for
out, Cub
inviting me.
Scout.
It's over.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.